But you know, it was really fun. I remember doing it. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be so cool.
That's all that matters, being present. So many, like, what are all these decals? It's crazy. Yeah. I love it. It's like they're like, by the time they get to the back of the car, like, who cares? Just make it flat. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. So cool. Love
Doing
that.
this car.
Yeah. It's cool to see the process too. Yeah.
So wrong.
Yeah. But so right too. But so wrong.
Yeah, it's so wrong. But
yeah. And you get, so when you're doing it in Substance Painter, are you getting these happy accidents, little random things that are happening? You're like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even think about that. So you're just using kind of like the lasso tool and cutting out and making shapes and layering them, because that's what the power of that tool is, really, is projecting down and moving around and seeing it in dimensional space.
many people is asking about how I'm working with Substance Painter.
Yeah.
And something here to give you some hint what I'm doing, what we're doing. Sometimes, not always. Just with a special occasion, we spend the time because it's a lot of work.
Boom.
Cool. So I brought this mate because I want to somehow show to the audience, mainly for Argentinians, to show them we are friends. We are not against to them.
Why would you be against Argentinians?
Because we are talking about today the Lacroy. If you remember well,
Yes.
we use the platform ACTC, Argentinian racing cars.
Yeah.
I know they are super sensitive about this, so
really?
somehow I'm gonna use this excuse for drinking mate.
Oh, they're like really, they didn't like what you did with the Lacroy or something? Or
No, I think I received a lot of love from them. Yeah, actually, I didn't expect that. It went viral. I think I told you it went viral for a couple of weeks, and people went
right.
nuts. You know,
Yeah.
it was the time also at the same time people get confused, as you know, the renders are super realistic, and then was the timing where Argentina Racing wanted to swap the design. So people thought, what we're doing, we are commissioned by the Argentina Racing. So people was like, the perfect storm at the right time. So
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Yeah. So when we released it, just serendipitously, it was between these like kind of pillars of basically between the two things. Yeah. We have no affiliation with them at all. We just love the racing. We just love that world basically because it's fantastic. I don't know how we found it. It was like a Google search or something. And I was like, what the heck? What is this? This is the best thing ever.
I think you shared with me on Instagram. I was like, what the hell is this? It's like kind of a tiny NASCAR or something. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, tiny NASCAR, but they don't just do the oval ring. They do turns left and right, which is really cool. Yeah.
Actually, today is in preparation. I was reading a little bit. Not that much. I don't know that much about this category. But apparently it's kind of a common mistake comparing NASCAR and Argentina Racing, TC or ACTC, because it looks similar, but they are really totally different chassis, platform, engine, nothing in common. And apparently the NASCAR is a V8, and these one are V6, with 500 horsepower.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
sounds fantastic, man. Sounds like a super rowdy and mad. These cars are fucking cool, man.
like an angry bee. The exhaust comes out the side too, I think. It's like, yeah, it's super aggressive. But it's been around, the racing series has been around for quite a long time, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think actually one of those, the oldest from America, from 1960. And they started as rally cars, kind of weird. And then they year by year, they move into different style. And I think they ended up, as they know right now, is a circuit.
Slowly
Yeah,
evolving.
Yeah.
Man,
Man,
don't forget the little share thing on the screen thing, the little riverside thing.
Before jumping straight away to the episode, I would like to shout out to Tim Hicks.
Yes,
our
Tim
friend.
Hicks. Yeah,
I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to focus,
yeah.
but yeah. So
What is that? So people that might be listening are not seeing it. What are you showing to the camera?
The whole story. If you go to the first episode,
That's right.
I talk about the Brawler. The Brawler is based on these Ferrari GTB,
GTP,
and
yeah.
this is basically my toy. As a child, I played with this game with this toy so many years, and I lost it, and it was so cute. Like it was you. You came from America. And
That's
you
right.
planning to visit me, and
Yeah.
you brought me the Haze shirts.
Which you're wearing right now, which is awesome too.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
represent. Whoa, damn, dude. Yeah, don't stand up. He's got no pants on. So yeah, that looks good on you. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Everything
yeah,
black. It just melts
yeah.
with the background.
Just a floating head. Yeah, shout out to everybody that supported that too. That was amazing. All sold out in about an hour. Yeah,
Yeah, crazy, right?
yeah.
I remember a big shout out to Brandon as well.
Yes, our partner
Distortion
Brandon
Dynamics.
Smith. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck yeah, man.
Distortion Dynamics.
And
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I think it was a surprise for me as well when he mentioned Brandon. He's gonna be quite quick. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, but Brandon was right. He was quick,
Yeah, yeah,
sold
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. Well, we did our best, and a big thanks to everybody that supported what we were doing here, which is awesome. And we're starting small with high quality, and we're going to try and keep it that way, just slow incremental growth steps as we develop and build the brand. So everybody that got a piece of this first one, that'll never happen like that again. It'll just be a whole nother thing, which is really fun. So yeah,
Yeah,
and big thanks to Tim, because Tim surprised me too. So we did the episode. Tim said he was listening to it, and I was so surprised that he even listened to it. So Tim Hicks, for those that don't know Tim Hicks, he has a studio, or I guess you would call it a garage, or he builds amazing things, and he goes by Industry Garage. Tim built in with the Legacy 240Z or 260Z that we built for SEMA, or he built, but we designed for it. And he's basically family now because he's awesome and he's such a G and he's so special. And he heard that episode and then remembered that Carlos didn't have that toy. Went on eBay, found it on eBay, and then got it, and then sent it to me. And then I got it the day before I left to Spain, so it was like perfect gift for Carlitos. So yeah,
man, I lost it when you show up with Monica and
yeah,
open the gift,
yeah,
and you told me something is inside. I was like, what the hell is this? And then I knew it. As soon as I just opened the package and see the red car paint, I was like, damn, cannot be. Cannot,
yeah,
no way, no way. And you told me it was Tim.
yeah,
Because yeah, I thought about you, but Tim. Wow, all right.
yeah.
This guy is the best.
He has a special love for you, which is awesome. Yeah, he really he's excited for us all to get together again too. So we had such a good time in San Francisco or Las Vegas, sorry, together at SEMA that we all kind of just bonded. And another excuse and a reason why cars are so special. It just brings us all together, and we have such cool, fun memories. And yeah, so that was awesome. There's so many great things. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we had a blast right there.
the
Meeting
best.
meeting the team family and
Yeah,
cousins, friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
So good. We have to. Hopefully, you'll come back out for next year. Depends on what we have out there. We'll hopefully. I think Ferris's Corvette will be there most likely, and hopefully Trick Factory Customs has the 190, if not finished, but it'll be hopefully in its way to being finished. They got a ton of work to do, but yeah, that'd be nice, and then we could all be there and celebrate. And everybody that's going to go to SEMA, if we end up going, would be great to see you all there. So I've met a couple of random friends there, and I met people that I've never met before there. It's just a really great hub for everybody to get together, and yeah, at some point. But yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to Tim, awesome
Yeah.
toy. Shout out to everybody that got and purchased and supported the haste drop that we did about a month ago or so. Yeah, super awesome. I need
Yeah.
to wear the shirts more. I don't want to wear them all the time because I want to
Same.
preserve them, but I'm like, yeah, because once they're used up too much, that's it. I'm like, damn it. Yeah, got to make
Somehow
more
I
shirts.
feel guilty today wearing this sweater, but it was so cozy. Just it feels so good, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
boy.
Brandon did such a good job of finding the best blanks that he could. Took him a long time to try things and get the best quality. Yeah, Brandon really cares, and it really shows in the quality, which is great. Yeah, we didn't want to just get some janky crap that was just going to be disposable. We want you to wear and love the shirt for like a decade. That would be the best.
For sure, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
This is fucking great, man.
yeah, yeah. It's super great. Yeah, nice way to start the podcast.
Sorry,
Listen,
I'm all over the place.
no, it's okay. You're drinking your mate. You're all over the place. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and I got mixed up. I thought we were supposed to do the belladonna, but the numbers shifted in our build, and we're trying to do it in sequence of when we got these built. So I think I started with the belladonna, which will be the next episode. But I think I started with that. I was playing with the idea. The belladonna came from an idea I had when we first met, and I was starting to learn 3D Studio Max and V-Ray.
Remember.
So that'll be a whole story we'll get into, which is really fun. And then I found that racing series in Argentina. I showed it to you. You loved it. We both loved it. We were watching all the videos. It was amazing. Big thanks to those people that are doing that awesome, crazy racing series. And then you decided this car. And also, the little Riverside share thing is on there too.
Yeah.
The little screen thing. But what made you decide on the Camaro exactly? Like what made you think like, oh, I want to do this car out of all the cars, the American muscle car?
That's the question. I barely remember why. If I get it right, I believe the old series, or at least the most common series from Argentina racing, they are using Ford Mustang and the Camaro. I think it was the Camaro or Chevrolet. And then I don't know why, but I was like, I'm going to do a muscle car, and I love the
Trans
Camaro.
Am?
Yeah, Trans Am.
I think that's what it is, right? Camaro Trans
Oh,
Am? No,
Trans
that's
Am?
just a Camaro.
No, just the Camaro.
Yeah.
Set 28 from the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's
So
just
cool.
beautiful. This
Yeah.
car is one of my favorite ever.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it about it that makes you really drawn to it? And have
I
you
think
ever seen one in person?
No, never
I
seen
love
one.
that. Oh.
It's funny though, because in Vegas, I saw so many Camaros, the new ones, like everywhere is
Oh,
Camaro.
the new ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
the new ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Not this one though. The classic ones are not everywhere. Yeah.
I think this car has a charm. I don't know what it is, charm, cartoony-ish, something connected with my childhood. I think something about, maybe it could be another toy, but I don't barely remember. But yeah, something really special, something about this car. The headlights and
Yeah.
super classy. I don't know what it is, but it's super cool. Maybe the front bumper, splitter, and then I don't know what it is, man. But this
Yeah.
car was to me in my head like, all right, that could be interesting because transform this Camaro to this is a huge jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Look
I
at that
found
side
it quite
exhaust.
challenging, quite interesting to try at least.
Yeah. Look at all those stickers. Holy crap. How do they even see what they're doing? Man. Oh my God. There's there's a little window of viewing space.
Look at this, that noise. Yo, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. They're using Lexan too, it looks like, so it's all wobbly. Yeah. Or polycarbonate. That's so cool. Yeah, the front of that car, the Camaro, has it's unmistakable, which is so cool. You know, when we walked that one museum and we saw the cars and stuff, I think it's really hard for an auto manufacturer or design industry to invent something special and new. I'm sure this design came from something,
Yeah,
but it looks nothing like the competitors at the time, the Charger, the Mustang, all of these other cars that were in the same realm. Because what year is that? Do you know what year that is?
70s.
70s. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like
1970s.
1970, right on the 70.
Yeah.
So it's similar to the one that we're about to release as well, the Ford version. And see how different it is. They're completely different, which is cool. This long sleeping thing, but then the face is so different from the rest of the cars, which is really cool. Very bold. I think you either love it or you hate it. Most people, I
Yeah.
think, just love it, which is cool. Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask you how much holds up this model for the people. People feel connected with this car, or is considered ugly-ish, crappy muscle car?
In America,
Yeah, in America.
I think when it comes to muscle cars, the essential ones that people definitely drift towards is the Charger, the Mustang, and the Camaro. I don't think that they don't really go into this one, I believe, but I think it's the Camaro. What is it? Wait, is this the Camaro? I get confused.
Yeah.
There's not a Camaro. I'm sorry. Remember when we were walking SEMA and they had the muscle car was the same one out of everyone? There was just they kept having the same one. What's that?
Yeah, what's the Camaro, but the latest one?
It was
From
a
the
new version
2000s.
above this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The 2000-ish Camaro with the restyling retro thing.
Oh no, I don't know if it was that. Yeah, that one new. Let me look it up. I get all my muscle cars mixed up sometimes. Camaro eras. Let's see here. Camaro, not camera. Camaro. Sometimes it changes. All right, let's see. Camaro cars. Yeah. Dude, my Google searching is whack right now. All right, so yeah, so that I see. Yeah, so this is damn, getting hosed here. Yeah, they had like the new one. The new one's quite famous. So the one that most people modify is the 60s one. So in 1967, the Camaro, that's what people were modifying the most. 67, 69, and then in looks like the 70s. So this is a 70s Z28, the one that you have on there.
28.
That's
yeah.
when it completely changed again. So most people, I think, like the older 60s Camaro, and then it just kept changing. It's a pretty crazy transformative car, really. If you look at the design, like they changed it a lot continually, which was kind of interesting. If you look at the difference in a brand like, say, Porsche with the 911, which has just basically been the same in a lot of ways and didn't change too much, but looks like every 10 years or so, it has this big shift. And now the car is completely different from where it started almost, but you can see some of the lineage. But I feel like in the design process, if you see it, they never went back to where this one is, which has got the really bold face with the big eyes and stuff too, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think something's going on here with the 4 headlights. It seems like I carry on so much legacy, the old cars.
Yeah.
It has the kind of a old school presence. It could be that it's not really likable car. Maybe that's why I like it. It looks really classy, but at the same time, the body look like muscle car. Kind of
Yeah.
weird, right?
Yeah. We talk about this too, and an importance of this, and hopefully this kind of transcends to everybody listening, is it's really important to ask yourself deeply why you like something and really articulate exactly why. Because if you can do that, then you can resynthesize it in yourself. So it's like really key to just dive into it and understand, why do I love this? What is it about this that makes me excited or happy? And so this is what we're trying to do now, is like, well, I like this because that, and this from that. And it actually builds your taste, because if you can articulate what you like, then you can synthesize usually. I like this thing from this because that's the thing I like, and that comes from this and that, and so on and so forth. It's got a fantastically somewhat low belt line as well. And that pinch line that disappears into the arches, and the arches aren't fully circulated too, which they're like a nice curved flat top as well. And the rear is a little bit higher. So it's got the quintessential formula, which is awesome. And it still looks great. I think the greenhouse is really interesting. Yeah.
To be honest, man, I think I screwed up with this car. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why. I think I was so looking forward to use this car and transform it and do something about it. But maybe it wasn't for this particular race type of car. I think this car deserves way more love. I think I just being unrespectful and just rip it apart and just do something whatever, making fit the ACTC Argentinian racing. Yeah, that's funny. Now looking back, oh man, what I've done here. I feel guilty in a way.
Well, to be fair, if you look at the car to the left of that, transforming it into that race series, you have to go kind of crazy with it, which is kind of fun, which is what we tend to do anyways. We tend to take things apart and go crazy with it. Maybe down the road we could take these cars because I feel the same way with mine. It's like, oh God, what did I do? But maybe we could go back to these and just go and make an updated version similar to the Euro approach with the latest NSX release. It's like,
But to be fair, I don't think it's the are easy way out to do something looking good. I mean, the muscle car, it looks really cool as a muscle car. If you transform that as a ACTC race car, it doesn't make any sense. The car starts to feel wacky and kind of stupid. And, but it was really fun. I remember doing it. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be so cool.
that's all that matters, being present. Sometimes it's difficult when we look back at things. We're like, oh crap, what did I do? But it's also part of the journey, which makes it fun too, to look back at it and go, oh, okay. Because that means that we're changing and growing and shifting. Oh, okay, like maybe I'll consider this in the future, or go a little less here and try a little more there. And yeah, which is part of the trick.
I tell you this, I think for what it is, the task, I think I did a decent job getting the Camaro to this kind of category. I think I did a decent job. Could be better for sure. Maybe the question if is about I shouldn't do this. Basically, I didn't even start. Just leave it as it is. Muscle car is a muscle car. ACTC is a ACTC. So that's it. That's two different worlds. You cannot cross that kind of universe. But hey, it was fun. We can do it. It's CG. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it fun. It can be done. And I think it's a fun process and a thing to learn too.
Yeah.
It's like a fun study. It's like make an old muscle car into this racing series and see how it looks. And I mean, when we see the cars that they're doing, it's like, it makes sense. We could just do that. Because we love, I think it's fair to say now that we really love older cars, and we love them because they had this interesting purpose that was designed into them, unlike certain cars of the current day. And so I think we're just trying to go back to that feeling, the old world feeling of the design of things. Yeah.
Do you think maybe it's coming part of maturity, going a little bit subtle, or
yeah, I guess so.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just a part of it. Yeah. Yeah. Look at these things. These are crazy. So these are from the racing series, right?
Yeah, so it's some backstory. Back then, when we started, the car, it looked like this, right? And I remember back then, people were started to complain about all the cars start to look like this, even though have different brands. I think it's a Ford and Chevrolet. People start to struggle to what is the Chevrolet, what is the Ford?
Sure.
All they look similar.
Yeah.
I think also in terms of financial, they were a little bit struggle with how to make this alive, this racing.
Yeah.
And then this year, finally, they're using platform, the Mustang, the Toyota Camry, the Camaro, the new one.
Yeah.
Guy, they are kind of keeping the legacy of Torino. That's a classic South American Argentinian brand. I think it's not a brand, maybe a model from Ford. I'm not sure. These legacy cars just spread out. And sorry, Argentinian, don't be too hard with me. And try my best here.
Yeah. They're all screaming at you right now.
Yeah, what the hell, you Spanish stupid.
Yeah. Go easy. Go easy. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
this
the
guy.
Dodge.
Yeah, the Dodge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now,
okay.
if you look at it on internet, you can find these cars racing each other. It's quite cool.
That is super cool. Yeah, it's like wheel to wheel too. It's quite aggressive. It's really fun to watch. It's very entertaining. Building and creating a racing series is really intense financially, and just getting it done. It's costs a tremendous amount of capital to maintain a racing team, and you have to make it fun and interesting and dynamic for the viewers. F1 I think has done a fantastic job. Same with NASA. People are not NASCAR.
NASCAR, yeah.
Yeah. Is this one of the older original ones?
Yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah, that's cool. Look at that craziness. Yeah.
It is really crazy. Look at this waterfall. Yeah, what the hell is going on?
You mean that water block? There's
right.
no fall in that. It says water. Yeah. It's like aerodynamic, then not aerodynamic. But if it's cool, it looks like to the right of you, you can see the older version of that too.
The
Like
legacy
the
ones.
huge hips. That's so cool. Love that old stuff too. Yeah. What a cool thing. So I've never heard of this, and then stumbling on it, I was like, holy crap. I love those wheels, like that pull out, like how deep it is. That's crazy. And how everything's chopped and lowered into itself. So cool. Yeah.
It is wild. Look at this. I have a
Yeah.
kind of a double leap step. Reminds
Yeah.
me somehow of DTM, but it's not DTM. The chassis look like a NASCAR, but it's not
Yeah.
really a NASCAR.
Yeah, it's a full tube frame, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a straight 6-cylinder, too.
Yep.
That's so cool. That's why the big breather boxes at the top, too, is just feeding the carburetors, it looks like. That's crazy. I love 6-cylinders. You know that. I love straight sixes. They have such a
Presence.
personality. I mean, the Z has it, and almost all my favorite cars have it. A lot of BMWs have it. They're just special. Those wheels are huge, too. Water wheels, too. Yeah.
Super wide. Man,
Oh,
and I
man.
love the back. It's
Yeah.
so ridiculous. Totally
They'll-
flat. Nothing on it. Just flat. Wing on the back.
so many, like, what are all these decals? It's crazy. Yeah. I love it. It's like they're like, by the time they get to the back of the car, like, who cares? Just make it flat. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. So cool. By having this, it makes it so cool because it's totally its own design. Also, what's weird is the front tires look way, the profile is taller, and the width of the front tire looks a lot wider. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
Front to rear. Damn, that's so cool.
You can hear there.
Yeah. Oh man, chunky meats. Man, I love it. Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah, proper racing car.
Yeah, look at that little engine. I'm curious what kind of engine that is that's in there. Little straight 6-cylinder. So cool. Man.
Someone will tell you.
Yeah. Please tell us. Put it in the comments. I'm sure you will anyways. So happy birthday. You're the best. You know everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's so funky.
Man, what I love is the actual stand of the car.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's basically feels like the car is being chopped in half and then raised up. The entire wheels and the hips is just right there on the shoulder line.
Yeah.
It's super aggressive.
Super aggressive. Well, yeah, basically the whole car has been completely removed and then a whole new outer shell has been put into it. Yeah. We got to do one of those kind of renders someday where you just have like a flame throwing out, illuminating, like that reference I showed you of the Porsche the other day.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. It's like nighttime racing just being exposed by the flames of the car. Kind of like the Batmobile styles with just the fires lighting the car itself. Yeah. That is so cool. What a cool shot. Imagine this car all in matte black too. Yeah.
It's something about these cars. I don't know what it is. It could be maybe the amount of decals and livery. It just overload. It just everything is basically decals around.
Yeah.
Look at this how
Yeah.
massive decal on the windshield. Jesus Christ. Are you
Yeah.
able
How
to
do you
see it?
see?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that they use 6-cylinders and the little breathe. And they all have that little snorkel too, the intake too. There's the guy and his driver. That's got to be fun. Man, wheel to wheel too.
Look at this
Crazy.
amount of shape over here.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
What is
So
going on?
crazy. Yeah. It's Adrian Newey is screaming right now. Ah, no.
Tell you this. I
Yeah.
remember that
The heat shield.
capture this the reference because I love this kind of a handmade car,
Yeah.
basically raw. You can tell someone is been working on this one
Yeah.
manually.
Yeah. Yeah, all the heat shield just so it doesn't burn the carbon fiber or fiberglass, whatever those panels are made out of. So cool.
Look at that chassis tube over there.
Yeah, super safe. Damn. Imagine
Meant-
trying to get in and out of that thing. I love the split door too, the half door. You know, I love half doors. It's nice. Nothing says a race car more than a small door.
Who cares
like-
about doors?
Yeah, you don't need doors when you're going fast. And the wheels too, the 5-spoke is so cool, the 5-spoke star. So nice. Yeah. Yeah, this is so cool. What a wild series.
Yeah, it
yeah, the
is.
inspiration, Canepa.
Some extra detail looking for inspiration about racing, what it could be. Nakadax always works. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one beautiful Porsche from Canepa, I think.
You got it, man. Good eye.
Love this reference. I've used it so many times. It's just like, oh, look at that. Look
Classic.
at that. So
Endless.
cool. Yeah, it looks like carbon, or it looks like fiberglass combined with sheet metal, like a nice
Mm,
combination. What makes it so cool too is there's no decals, so you see the forms and the shapes and all
exactly.
the latches and everything. So cool.
Definitely a good reference for us, basically
Hmm.
because this you're able
Yeah,
to see in high resolution what is going on, why those holes, why the screws, what
yeah,
is going on. So you can figure out based on picture the
yeah,
functionality of the rear spoiler, maybe the fenders, how it's being attached, what how
yeah,
the windshield is attached to the body, how that works. It's really
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, references are everything when you're trying to create things dynamically inside the computer, and we don't have access to these places and these shops and these things, so we do a deep dive. Yeah, the facets, the chamfers, the hardware, all of these things, the mesh.
Look at this.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
the
been
little
broken.
crack. Yeah, yeah. In race cars, you don't want to have things that are just floating with that small amount of material because it'll eventually rattle and break. Yeah, because the
Mm.
tensions are so tight. Yeah, it's so cool. I love that they left that Nakaduck area all black too, so it's like it just falls in. Because imagine if it was red, it wouldn't stand out as much.
Hmm.
Yeah, this car is so cool. And I love the quick latches, the old school hardware ones. These are so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see there's a spring in there, so the fastener goes in and then it's spring loaded to push itself out so it's easy to get out. So cool. And on the other side you have this little latch attachment to it. Yeah. I'm going to be doing that on the Z soon, just to the hood. Not those ones. There's a quick latch one that's just a
Hmm.
push the button, which is really nice.
Nice,
Yeah.
man.
The Lexan stuff, so cool. Yeah.
I
Beautiful
think
car.
all the what I have here, the preparation
Mm.
to start the project, which is kind of funny because I believe is really low amount of picture, considering it's a totally new car and the massive challenge I have ahead, the amount of detail required.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, well, whatever. I need to start.
Well, you get excited. Yeah. And this is
Yeah,
the blockout phase. Yeah.
yeah, that's the bit the blockout phase with the square model,
Hmm.
and I was doing really quick sketch in 3D
Mm.
and see the potential of it. Okay, all right, cool. I think it's gonna work. I see this happening,
Yeah.
and then of some interaction here. I was doing so small mock-ups on the body, what it could be. Ah, man,
Yeah.
so many challenging
Love
doing this
that.
car.
Yeah. It's cool
It's
to see the
all
process too. Yeah.
so wrong.
Yeah. But so right too. But so wrong.
Yeah, it's so wrong, but it makes
But so
sense.
right.
Have a look.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
I
Yeah.
completely forgot about this.
Yeah.
I think you finished first, and I was using your car as a
Mm.
reference, how
Yeah.
wide it could be. So
Yeah. I always
both
go
really
wide.
pair. Yeah.
Yeah. I just took a Zach Speed Capri front clip and put it on the Mustang. And I
It
was
fits
like,
perfectly.
yeah, no one did that before. So I was like, yeah, it fits so well, and it transformed the car. Basically, I cheated. It did all the work for me in the beginning. Yeah, I'm gonna rip this to pieces once we go to that episode. It's gonna be hilarious. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, look at that. The boys right there, just chilling. A couple of
Yeah.
hot boys chilling in the sun.
Yeah. I remember in this process, in this moment, I
Mm.
was really concerned because quickly realized, oh, that is not gonna be a good looking car. It's gonna be a beast. All right. So I'm too far for the process to back up and do something else because you're already finished. I was like, oh, damn it.
I wasn't finished there. I was still quite rough, but I was getting closer. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
So I went full on, as you know me.
yeah.
I'm gonna go
Proper shit.
super deep and try to figure it out. Right, the car is gonna look kind of ugly-ish, so I'm gonna go with totally beast, and it needs to be high detail, handmade car. How it gonna look like? So basically, kind of a shame I don't have more pictures on the modeling process, but
Mm,
here the card is almost complete.
mm,
The only thing is lacking maybe is just textures. But in here, I start to feel a little more confident. All right, cool. The car looks ugly-ish beast, but it makes sense for this kind of a build. It looked like someone with really bad taste is doing or
Be nice
renders
to yourself.
a renders body kit on top of the Camaro.
I love what you did at the rear. You just kind of left the stock bottom in there, that cut in, and then you just went wide with the X outside. Also,
Yeah,
this is when you were still like kind of exploring poly modeling. You've gotten a lot better, obviously, since then too, and you're now doing CAD. So I'm sure you look at this and go, "Oh, I could change all of these things." But as you mentioned, the idea that this is built in somebody's hand, which is really cool. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly that. I felt back then a little bit, um, um, let's say a little bit concerned, but on the other hand, I was confident I can do this. I need a little bit more work, adding a lot of details, and then I can pull this off and make the car stand out, even though it will look kind of horrendous.
it's definitely got the right bone. So I feel like it's got the right essence of it, which is cool. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it makes sense.
yeah.
Super, raising up all the hips beyond the bonnet. Yeah, super low.
If you were to do that again, would you have adjusted that, like maybe blended the original lines into that new fender and kind of blended everything together? Or?
I think you have a hint at the beginning what I told you that I wouldn't even dare to start. I wouldn't
So
touch
a
the
rethink
Camaro.
completely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't use the Camaro.
Oh,
Maybe
I
I
think it's a
would
good
use.
challenge.
I think it's so man. I think it's so iconic. These beautiful headlights, and then extending the body down doesn't fit as a muscle car. And it's something unique and beautiful is happening when you have the muscle car that like this one, the Camaro.
Yeah, and it's got the air
Totally
dam in
clean
there. Hmm.
right there. It's just
Yeah, the
maybe
BRE. Yeah.
a hips over there. This front spoiler, super thin. I love that. I think as
We
soon
kind
you
of have that in the GTX, and I think we have that in the latest build we are doing too. Yeah.
I think as soon you change that bumper, everything starts to feel a little bit wonky, kind of a modernized of 60s and it kind of a clash style. I don't know. Something is there. I think I went too far on this car.
Well, we definitely went too far with this car, but we did it because it's part of the theme. So it's part of that racing series, which
Yeah,
is cool. Yeah.
yeah. The same as
But
the back as well. I knew this
yeah.
back it would work,
Yeah.
so I was
Do you
like,
remember
yeah, all right.
Riley Starr's Trans Am? I think it was a Trans Am, the white one, that crazy one with the crazy
Yeah,
headers and everything. Yeah. Yeah, he's a bit of an inspiration too.
yeah,
His car is incredible. That thing is the sickest car. Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah. It's
cool.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
can tell. I told you about this.
yeah. Yeah, the hand built like heat shield and stuff out of metal.
Yeah.
That big blocky center, just unapologetic square in the middle of the car. Yeah.
Yeah, as I told you, I wouldn't use the Camaro. I will
What car
use
would
them.
you use for this then?
Maybe I can use. I mean, they use the Dodge. Maybe I can use this one.
Yeah, you
I
could.
make
I mean,
something different.
so a more modern car for this then. Yeah, no muscle car.
Yeah, it could be the Dodge Challenger, or maybe the Camaro. The Camaro looks
It's a
really cool as
Charger.
well. The new one. I think it makes sense for these new brands. I mean, new models. It fits perfectly. I think
Yeah.
these my car from the 70s doesn't make any sense. It looks kind of funky. I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they were using older cars for this series too. I mean, that's when they started, right? It was the old. It was an
Yep.
old. They were using old muscle cars and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the theory for me. Like, they're using as well all models.
Yeah. Still works though. I think it works well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Chunky boys.
but definitely on the process, I started to feel really excited about it because the amount of details I felt committed to do it and finish it.
Yeah.
And normally I will drop it. As soon as I see this, like, oh fuck, it's so much work and doesn't work. I see it's gonna be a clash,
Well, I like
but
that one though. That's really cool. It's like more smooth and it fits the BRE lip too. Yeah. Sometimes you ever get that where you look back and go, ah, crap. Hey, that was interesting. And then why did I go this way or that way? I do that all the time. Like, ah, crap. The heck. I could have just kept doing this one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I went on the right direction,
Yeah.
but yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. Also, I went full on in
Yeah,
this one as
livery.
well with the UVs,
Yeah.
doing liveries and Success Painter.
That's right. You use Rezone for this. You
Yeah,
unwrap the whole body that you made and made a custom liveries and stuff. Yeah.
super fun doing this kind
Yeah.
of
Decals
liveries.
are so satisfying. Yeah, liveries.
Something I wanted to do in this one, it was basically a symmetry, left side and right side completely different, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this one reminds me Ken Block livery. It
Mm-hmm.
was you. You did the funny fox in white.
Yeah, the Hunifox, I tried to do a white one. I was trying to convince Ken at the time that, oh, you've done all these other ones. We should do an inversion. And he loved it. So, yeah. Shout out to Ken for being awesome.
Always.
Yeah. 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 That's cool. Yeah. I
Yeah, I
love
remember
that
that
too.
back then doing it like a white on white. Yeah, like
Yeah.
an ash and
It's nice and fun and wild looking too. Yeah. It's got a cool style. The asymmetry of it is really fun as well, which is nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically
Love
that.
that. It's definitely got your style all over it, which is fun too. Like you have that style where it's almost like it's like a it's not even a digital glitch. It's just got this like how would I I mean, I guess I don't. It's like the Designer's Republic kind of style, from Wipeout, but
Mm,
your own version of that, which is really cool. I
yeah,
love it with all the livery though, especially from there, all the negative shapes and the spaces in there. We love putting holes into cars and like creating negative shapes inside the stock lines, things that you just couldn't do to a normal car. Yeah,
yeah.
we have so
What I
much
love
fun doing
about
it.
this
Ooh,
process
so
in
cool.
Success Painter, you can create so amazing shape. Something like I like to do a practice, fitting kind of a odd position of shapes doesn't make any sense for the actual shape of the car, but overall it looks kind of makes sense. Playing with the actual space between part. Something like I don't know how to describe it, but in my brain makes sense, even though it's chaotic. But the
Yeah.
chaos on the shapes, it makes sort of a maybe a sort of a harmonic space between shapes, and I like that this kind of play of chaotic.
Yeah, and you get so when you're doing it in Substance Painter, are you getting these happy accidents, little random things that are happening? You're like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even think about that. So you're just using kind of like the lasso tool and cutting out and making shapes and layering them because that's what the power of that tool is really is projecting down and moving around and seeing it in dimensional space.
Yeah, exactly. Building super quick and improvising, expecting some happy accident is really cool.
Yeah. And the graphics and the designs they are all coming from like the templates and things that you build in Adobe Illustrator, right? And then just stamping them in as like brushes, basically, just stamping them.
Not really.
No?
Here I'm using basically everything from scratch using Square and creating different shapes based on negative and doing mask. Like for example here, just a
So
mask.
you're not so all like the Momo Italy and stuff. That's like graphics that you've brought into Substance Painter, right? And then stamped on. Okay, that's what I meant. But all the patterns underneath it is shapes that you've not made outside of the program, or it is inside the program that you're making these
Inside,
shapes.
yeah. It's
Okay.
basically painting by hand all these massive shapes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because it looks like a repeating stamp that's like being moved around the car.
It seems like a pattern, but it's no, it's basically by hands. I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
where it's coming from, maybe because my past playing video games in Forza or Gran Turismo, I love doing liveries. And something about that, doing manually everything, something satisfying there. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but I love that.
We just had somebody share something really cool on social media where they took one of the cars that we did. I think it was the GT40, and they made the haste livery inside of Gran Turismo, I think. Was that what
Yep.
it was?
Yep.
Fucking so cool. Let me see if I can find it and I'd give a shout out to that person because it's so awesome.
That was really cool, man, to see
One of
that.
so cool. It's just rad to see all the love, and I think that must have been difficult to do. Yeah, it's this one, Gran Turismo Motor Snaps.
It's a whole process, you know.
Warships.
It's
Yeah.
a massive intention put down hours
Yeah.
replicating a real car. In this case, a digital car because yours is not real yet.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, it was so cool. The account is called Gran Turismo Snapshots. Super sick. It's a person, a digital creator, and they make awesome stuff inside of Gran Turismo. And they made the Haste livery, uh, the
Yeah,
GT40. Yeah,
yeah. He's doing a lot of liveries.
yeah, so cool, coolest stuff. Yeah, yeah. Big thanks to that. That really made our day. We're like, oh, look at this. Oh man, wow, cool. Yeah. So that was one of the inspirations. So growing up playing Gran Turismo, building liveries and placing them. So it's kind of like you're doing the same thing, just a
Yeah.
little bit more power and control on your own car. So is that kind of like a real trip for you? Like, oh my God, this is so fun. I can do all this stuff and it's really interesting. It's got to be that's got to be something special, rewarding.
Yeah. Also, I think it was a good opportunity for me to hide the cars as much as possible.
So honest. Be nice to yourself. It looks cool.
It looks way cooler in this way.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually we're like, we know that it's a sign of the car we really love if we release it in black. And we really love it if it's gloss black. That's how you know we like really feel happy. Just
True.
like the latest car we just did. When we showed in gloss
True.
black, we're like, fuck yeah. Zero
Yeah.
regret, full power.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to show everything. Just
Yeah.
glossy black.
But when we cover it up with stuff, that's how you know we're we're insecure and we're trying to hide it.
Amount of liveries and colors and patterns
Look over
in
here. Look
black.
over here. Don't
Hey,
look
hey,
over
hey,
here.
hey, look at this, look at this.
Yeah. So this was the second car I think you did this workflow with Rhizome and then doing the Substance Painter, right? I think so.
Man, yeah, I think so. It was
The Wraith was the first one, the Wraith car. The
yeah, I think
Concept
so.
Dodge Interceptor, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this one, it was the first time practicing something I was really curious to do. I managed to do it. It was really cool. Many people is asking about how I'm working with Success Painter.
Yeah.
And something here to give you some hint what I'm doing, what we're doing. Sometimes, not always. It's just when a special occasion, we spend the time because it's a lot of work. First, you have
Yeah.
to do UVs and then going to Success Painter. And depends the way you manage layers, you can go crazy. I don't like that. I like to work super light in Success Painter because
Yeah.
mainly the heavy lifting is in Corona, where I play with all the shaders. I don't like to create shaders in Success Painter. I know you can do it, but I don't feel comfortable. I feel a little bit constrained using shaders from
They don't
driven by.
translate well to Corona as well. They
I
don't
think you,
translate well. I don't think it does. Yeah.
I think you can do it, but I never manage. Maybe my lacking of patience to do it properly. And
Yeah.
in the end of the day, you are basically pulling all the translation away from Corona, which is I'm not really feel comfortable. I'd
Yeah.
rather have all the control in Corona.
Maybe we can dive into this. Sorry to interrupt, but maybe to catch you before you change the thought, there is that there's different steps to the process. And one of them is the Corona, using Corona the way we use it and the way you use it is you've already established realism. And so you're not trying to put realism on top of realism by going to this software and then adding more complexity just for complexity's sake. I think a lot of CG artists do that and they try to validate the effort by making things more complicated, which I don't think makes much sense. But is that right? Is that what you're saying?
That's a really good point. CG artists, I include myself as a CG artist. We used to complicate things really quickly for the sake of complicated because it seems like it's the right thing to do, making
Yeah.
it more complicated as it is. And soon I understood like Corona has already everything perfectly set up for realism. So why bother to break up that workflow? And I know you can implement a new thing in workflow using Success Painter. A lot of people are asking, how are you doing those textures and all that massive realism? I used to say Success Painter, but with careful with that word because you can go so deep to the painter, replacing the realism from Corona, and that's really tricky. So
Yeah.
something like I wanted to share with you. Basically, try to give you the answer how we use in Success Painter.
Hmm.
One is for liveries. You can just based on diffuse. That's it. Nothing else. Just diffuse.
Yeah.
If I want to go further doing the extra detail for dirt, I'm using this kind of manually painting where I want all the dirt and the smudges
Hmm.
using black and white texture. That's it.
Yeah. Then you take
Literally,
all that data and apply it to the shader inside of Corona. Yeah.
exactly. Literally using just black and white mask where I can use and reusing it again and again in Corona using just black and white, which is super handy. Instead using imagine Bebet embedded the dirt on the diffuse and the decals is totally clean. And then if I want to, I can make the car dirt using the mask.
Yeah.
It
In
depends.
layers.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but for
Hmm.
me, it makes sense when I'm using black and white mask,
Yeah.
and it has a lot of power. You can do a lot with this. You can crank it up. You can do subtleness. You can increase the value for white and then make it more contrast.
Yeah. Just
Give
using the
you
curve,
so
the
much
filter
option.
curve. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it makes sense to do it in layers, right? So if you dissect this, so if you think about a car, so there's a car, it's made out of some sort of composite or a sheet metal, and then you have on top of that, you have the livery, which is clean when they apply it, and then on top of that, you have like the wear and tear of it driving. So you think about it in layers of reality, and it's the same thing here too. It's like dissecting that reality. So by having that, you can dial it in. You can say, I want it to be more basically by using the curve inside the filter or the color correct curve, how much it impacts the shader or not. So you have this power and control. So you have the livery and then the dirt and then how much dirt and where you want it. Because if we try to do this, say with, it would be impossible to have this much control to do it with like just I forget the name of it. I don't know why I'm blanking on the
Ambient
name, but
occlusion.
yeah, just by using ambient occlusion. Sorry. Yeah, because then the ambient occlusion just is kind of a global thing, and it works really well if you're not trying to be too directional. It'd be so cool. Eventually, it would be really nice to be able to just put like shapes and blocks where the ambient occlusion could go, and just kind of paint it inside of the program, just like it does in Substance Painter. Like it's because
Yep.
it's you're kind of painting the AO a little bit, but you're doing it by hand. But I also think it's really smart of you to, because I've done this too. I've done this whole process when Matthew and I did the Sob project, like before we were doing stuff together. I went through the whole thing, unwrapped, and oh man, and then brought it in here, and then I was doing decals, and then I was doing dirt painting on top of it, and it would not translate super well to building it in the shader if you try to take everything from here and just think it's going to transplant. Also, you want to have more control in the second stage because you don't know the lighting situation.
Yep.
And something that we've talked about too, and this is getting a little bit more nerdy about the CGI aspect, but this is a question I know a lot of people ask about, is we change the shader per shot often all the time. So I know there's been a lot of questions like, how do you do this, and that? Even if we explained it, it changes for us dynamically in real time. So it wouldn't, there's no rule for it all, really. There's some common knowledge, but it's constantly evolving and changing. We're constantly going, crap, what I thought was good here, and now I have to change it for this shot, and this light and this HDRI is completely making it look bad. So I have to adjust and tweak the shader for that situation, that setting. That's if we were going full extreme reality and all that kind of good stuff. So
Yeah, really good point. Really good point because it's quite often to feel you are a hacker or you are doing something wrong if you
mm,
swap the Shirai and doesn't look as you wanted, and you
yeah.
feel frustrated and feel like, oh, I'm cheating here. I'm tweaking again the shader to make it feel now what I
Mm,
want to feel. And
mm,
I think nothing wrong with that. To me,
yeah.
it's more like a art directing what you expect. I think having the same in photography,
Hmm.
depending on the lighting condition, maybe the dirt it will be more visible or less visible. It makes sense, you know. It's in the end of the day is basically matching your expectation for the car, what you want to show. If it
Yeah.
doesn't look like as you want, you can change it. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you're kind of constantly checking with what it is that you want out of it,
Yeah.
which is also difficult to do when you're in the process of making something. It's already so difficult to do the thing of actually like unwrapping, going into this program, then thinking about what's going to be in the next program, and like underdoing it, but doing it in layers. Usually the key is, and this is something that would always catch me or ruin my process, is that I would step out of the reasonable process of steps, basically. So I would jump a couple steps and go to the other one and go, ah, crap, I got to go backwards. And that becomes very deflating in the process of creation. So, but if you do it in steps and stages and you're patient with the method, usually it yields a better result. And so as you're doing now, you've done the process of unwrapping the car, and you're now in the process of painting in bespoke dirt and stuff, because you know that you're going to go beyond on the next stage, which is really fun too. So
Another common frustration is coming when you get too attached to the tools, and this is a common mistake for even for me as well. It's something sometimes happens where you are so attached to the tool. The tool give you a solution, and you stick with that solution. Sometimes it's not the best. It's happened to me with Substance Painter, following tutorials, and I was like, yeah, cool, I think I know Substance Painter now, I can use it. And then the result never clicked to me. And that's personally, just for me, it doesn't make sense. I go, all right, I'm going to do my own thing. And so far, so good. The way I do it, it makes sense for me, and it works really well. And not necessarily has to be the way everyone is using it. Tools are tools, and it's about to you how to use it.
Yeah, it all comes down to what it is that you're after, and your style and your execution and all of these things too. If you're going for hyperrealism, which we're trying to do here, this seems to be the method that works really well. But you can also use V-Ray and other things as well too. But it's all a process. But this is cool. Thanks for sharing this, because I know that there's been so many questions. Most of the comments and questions we get are inquiries about this stuff. And like we said, and probably just doesn't make sense or doesn't sound right, and it sounds like maybe we're trying to hide something, but we're definitely not, is no matter what we would have done, if we were to teach you a step-by-step, all of these things, which maybe we'll do someday, and that'll be some sort of like paywall thing where it's like a Patreon or something. But it's exhausting to do that stuff. But if we ever do that, no matter what we do, we could hold your hand and show you each step. But then when you're on your own trying to do it, and you have to problem solve, and you don't have that ingenuity, that technique to go, oh, I have to think on my own and independently, you're never going to get there. You have to have that ingrained in yourself of what you want, seeing your expectations, having references, being honest with yourself, counterproductive, always working and then working with it to try and find the best method, to finding the best thing at the end of the road too. It's such a complicated journey to get to the end of it, that even trips us up often. We're like, ah, crap, why does this look right or wrong, or what's going on here? Challenges and all that good stuff. So
Yeah. Actually, this method, we don't use it anymore. Or at least I'm not using it anymore. It seems so much work using UVs, and then that's implemented well with UDIMs in Corona and Cinema 4D. Everything break up when we are sharing different path for texture. It just becomes so hassled. I think that we can get away with the ambient occlusion in Corona. It works really well. If we work smart, we do the good job. Sometimes I miss it, this amount of quality. I will show you here the renders, and I love how it looks here. Really precise.
So
Something
good.
like that you can't have control in Corona. You need the map doing this.
Yeah, unless we painted it with like fake geo or something. I wonder if there's a way to put geo in certain areas near the ambient occlusion and then hide it from camera. There's got to be a way.
I remember using V-Ray. With V-Ray, you can use it. You can use gizmo object, not visible, but affecting the ambient occlusion or dirt in that case. And it works super well.
If you know of a way, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, because it will be fixed with, you mentioned, a gizmo object right there, and then boom, you got it.
Yeah, an object that's being seen by AO but not the camera. Yeah, which would be really good. That way you can kind of just place geometry where you want it to be, and then the AO would be attracted to it, and then because I mean it works really well. It really pushes it super like it. Yeah, what you have here, all those little specks and little dirts and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
so good. Yeah, and the rivets and everything. Yeah, you went really ham on all the details here.
I need that, man. I
Yeah.
knew this guy's gonna be disgusting, so
Yeah, if you watch these other episodes, you'd notice that we have these things that we do, like I'm insecure, I'm gonna cover it with CGI. Yeah, we
I
both do it.
compensate with a massive work on UVs and Jesus painter.
Yeah, all the details.
All right. I'll give you this. I like this shot. This
Mm.
shot is epic
Okay, what
because
is it about this shot that you like?
the amount of details I think
Mm.
is really cool.
So
Some
the
happy
execution on the
accents,
CGI way.
some CGI stuff, the
Mm.
windows, everything is right to me here.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
You can breathe the racing stuff. Super junky and super raw.
yeah. I can see it. Yeah, I like the little holes in the windows too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like the cutout holes and stuff. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. And then there's the livery. I love that rear shot. I love how like bold it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a nice
Hmm.
finish on the back. It fit perfectly with the ACTC
Hmm.
Argentinian race. It's kind
Yeah.
of flat, a massive livery, decals in the back.
Hmm.
We say go amazing.
I love the paint color that you chose too. The silver, the Z28 kind of silver color, whatever it was. It's really nice too. It's very
Yeah,
fitting because you could have went with like a blue or a red or something different, but yeah, I like the color.
yeah. This a match on the Mercedes Group C
Mm.
car. I don't
Yeah,
remember
the
what was the car.
yeah the silver arrow. I think that's
Yeah,
that's the color. The silver arrow, silver.
mm,
Yeah, so good.
yeah, the livery as well.
The
And I
C11 or
love this
something.
kind of floor texture. I
Yeah,
should go back with this one.
yeah, we should. That's a beautiful one. It looks so good, and it creates a nice vibration out of the car as well. The
Hmm.
last few, because like what happens, we tend to just, oh, this studio works, and we just kept putting cars in there. But we haven't used this one since this one, I think. Yeah.
I tell you why. This one I'm using a long lens, so it's gonna give you a
Mm.
space to reveal the reflection. That's why it
Mm-hmm.
looks different. I think it's the same floor, but
Mm-hmm.
because we tend now using open lens like a 35, we aren't
Yeah,
able to see it anymore. The
that's
reflection could
true.
be that
Yeah. Well, this is a what 135 or something?
120 even.
120?
Yeah,
Yeah, about 120. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's a little wider though. Yeah.
yeah,
And I look at the way that the light gets dispersed, almost like an illustration. That's one thing I love about the GI. It's like the shadows underneath the front bumper, and it's like the light scatters in such a natural, beautiful, but almost false, like illustrative way. The GI is just so nice, so pleasing to the eye. Yeah, and it has
it
such a
is.
cool look to it, wholesome, like complete look to it. Yeah, I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love all the details underneath too. Smart.
Wait.
Huh? Don't look too close. Yeah.
Look
Oh
at this
yeah.
massive issue and the UVs. Boom.
Don't show that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell it was too far in the process. Like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, whatever. I'm not publishing anymore.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. You're just moving along, and sometimes we do that too. It's a process again. Remember we talked about the steps. So
Hmm.
you're already so far along in the steps. You're like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah. I
Man,
love
look at
that
this.
front shot.
So wide.
Yeah, that's fucking
Jesus
sick.
Christ.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, actually, that was my fault because I went super wide, and then you had to match my width. So I always go super wide. Remember when we did the GTX, the Exterminator, and the Cougar, and
Yeah.
then we put the Cougar in both side by side. You're like, crap, what the heck? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
the GTX is tiny comparing to Cougar. Tiny.
I know what to make cars cool for me is always like squish it and make it wide. Yeah. I love that though. I
Well,
love that.
I have to say, it was also my fault because I wanted to keep the body tight. It's not really
Mm,
wide.
yeah.
And as soon open, put it side by side. I was having so much trouble to put both in the same render. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, my car looks tiny. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I like this render a lot. Do you like this one?
Yeah, I like it.
Mm.
It blend with delivery, and you don't know what's going on, and I like that.
This is a beautiful shot too. It's like a nice, It's got an iconic sense to it, which is really cool. Just
Mm.
feels good, feels right. Yeah,
Yeah,
love
it's
that.
cool.
Yeah, ooh,
Here
ooh.
are my favorite for the series. Kind of a
Yeah,
sneaky and
love these.
teaser-ish.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
holds up
teasers.
super well for the
Hmm.
details like that.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that depth of focus, mama pajama. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And then, of course, something to give you away as well in terms of lighting. If you guys play with the directionality, I'm not sure
Hmm.
in Blender or Arnold or anything different than
Yeah.
V-Ray or Corona,
Mm.
but if you have a dictionality, play with that. It's
Yeah.
going because it's gonna give you the sense of scale, how
Hmm.
big is the lighting, and that is key for render like this, where
Hmm.
I consider this kind of render quite realistic.
Mm.
And you will ask why, and to me that's why, because
Yeah.
the directionality, and then plus on top you have the texture, give you the extra detail of what is going on, the diffuse.
Hmm. Yeah, directionality inside of Corona lights are fantastic. It's easy to just kind of turn the light into because in reality you rarely have lights that are larger in certain ways, and then your eye it just unravels everything. Again, it's like a moving struggle to try and find it. So if you could have everything else good, and then your lights are oddly sized, and you can't tell what it is, it's usually that thing as well. It all has to be global world scale, potentially, or it feels somewhat surreal. And but that could also be in your style too, your style and approach and to the design as well. It could be that it's just too weird. So, or you
Mm.
can have a surreal style too. But if you're trying to achieve realism, that's really the trick. Is yeah, and I don't know, like Carlos said, I don't know if there's directionality and the lights and outside of Corona and stuff, but if there is, if you can change in real world, I think it's called barn doors or like the latch, and then how intense the light comes out. If you can adjust those things, play with them, you might get some really good and interesting results too from the process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to say, I think I get inspired by you doing this kind of render, super high contrast
mm.
and super dramatic. I love this kind of shot. I should do
Mm.
more with this.
Yeah, you should. I think, yeah, because I think that we'll get into it, the Belladonna, but I think I did a couple teasers, and then you came out, you're like, okay, and I was like, damn it, you, and then you did these, and I was like, you son of a bitch, which is a common between us, yeah. I love that one. I think that's one of my favorites of the whole thing. That one, yeah. It's just,
Yeah, I would say so
I
too.
love the
Yeah.
crop, I love the light, I love the fall off, I love the X, I love it shows the lines, I love that it shows that it's not just a normal Camaro. It's just all of the things. It tells it all in one space, and also the negative space. I just love it. And it also feels like you're just standing there and you take a candid shot because you're present in the moment. There's
Mm.
certain times when you're just around an object and you're like, oh wow, and you never would have thought of it, but then you're just there and you see it. You take a photo of it. That's what that feels like to me. Just like a candid moment in the studio. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's
You nailed
very
it.
yeah.
You nailed it because I used to do that.
Mm,
Force myself. I know quite exhausting and time consuming,
mm,
but I force myself to do it because sometimes it happens when you have a minimum of sources of light, you need
mm-hmm,
to play with that. So you have to really balancing the framing and the
mm,
lighting. Sometimes you
mm,
find the good framing, but because you are too focused in the lighting, you miss the framing. So you have to be really aware of what is going on in your screen. You
yeah.
have to be present and really enjoy what you're doing. And this kind of shot is a happy accident because it's
Mm,
happened. I don't know what came first, maybe the lighting and then the framing, or
mm-hmm,
the framing then the lighting. But
mm,
when it happens, it's just super satisfying. Just, oh wow, all right, cool,
yeah.
nice. Sending
Yeah.
to the farm. My
I
computer.
love it. I remember when you were doing this, you were having a lot of fun too. Like we're coming towards the end of the project and you were able to just kind of see the car in a different way, using different lighting, different style. That's a unique render, actually, that camera angle for you. You never do that. Long lens, top high, non-eye human level. Yeah. You want
Yeah,
to talk
I would
about that?
say this is basically your style. I would say.
Yeah. Well, it used to be. I've not done that anymore really, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, something I did here. It was the keeping the Shirai. You see some happy
Mm-hmm.
accident reflection, give you the hint of what is the actual volume of the car.
Yeah.
Only one lighting on top. There you go. Boom.
Yeah, the world is there, but then the highlight, yeah. Yeah, the camera is unique. I very rarely see you ever do that. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. just super
It's
long
cool.
lens, depth of field.
Yeah, a long lens. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
good. I love the hints of like the yellow and the blue from the HDRI impacting the. So you just have one main light source, and then the HDRI is just lighting it, all those little highlights. Yeah,
the less
that's a
the
great
better.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really fun too.
I think everything makes sense here,
That
and I
one's a good
was
one.
really having fun.
Yeah.
Is because the actual amount of details on the diffuse, I can place directional lighting and all the texture reveal, and it's really cool to see that. When you have a lacking of details, all these kind of renders, it will fall apart really quickly. Like this one, for example, it will fall apart really quickly.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
because it's
you're
too
lacking on
simple.
detail. Yeah, it's too
Yeah.
simple. You
Yeah.
need that extra detail to distract your eyes and believe it could be real. This is small. You can do this with the ambient occlusion, but it will feel repetitive and
Repetitive. Yeah.
pattern. Yeah,
The
it's
tile.
tricky.
Yeah, you'd see the tile in it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that rear one really works well too. I think another thing that kind of this is something we're learning more as we design cars and get into it is that when we do these big shapes and surfaces, we have to have definition and lines. Like even like in the door, if you had more of a harsh pinch line, and then maybe it's like a slight indentation. This is where like really good designers obviously impact the look of a car. And this is something that I think we're trying to implement more and more with the latest cars is like having defined surface flow and forms. And then because when you have big planes, it kind of gets lost. And then the scale turns into almost like it could have been a toy or something because there's no definition that occurs on it. I think we did it a lot in the latest build that we're about to release too, the Ford. I'll just say the Ford. But if you think about the Ford in comparison to this, how much we've grown since doing this, which is really fun too. Yeah,
Totally, man.
yeah,
This is
yeah. I
so
love that
funky.
one. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, single light, HDRI, low impact, just nice. I
yeah.
think that one doesn't even have HDRI. No, there you can see it slightly. Yeah,
Slightly,
on the
yeah.
rims, you can see it
Thing.
on the rims, the blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something's there.
Something that I know we both love to do is we'll look at like references and stuff, and then we'll dissect. I don't think it's really often. How often do you look at CGI as a reference when you're doing this, or do you look in reality?
I think I will say never. I use reference. Only, only what I do is just going on my own work. If I can avoid certain tendency where I feel, yeah, repetitive. Like, all right, I did it before. All right, I'm not doing it. I'm doing something else. I try to keep it fresh, but obviously it's really hard. But yeah, try if I look to CGs, basically my own work to avoid repetition, and I try to find new photography or new styles or stuff.
But you're
Pretty,
mostly looking at inspiration and reference from reality.
yeah, always, yeah,
And the only time you ever look at CGI references is your own, so you don't repeat yourself or try not
yeah,
to.
yeah,
Or if there's something you did that you wanted to like keep going or trying new things, new versions of it, you do that as well.
yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
But normally, if I search for inspiration, I used to avoid any CG. Actually, I try to keep an eye of limit myself for artists in my feed.
Same.
I
Yeah.
rather go with photographers than CG artists or painter. It's really tricky because your brain, your eyes get used to it, and if at least for me, I feel like my brain, it's easy to fool. Sometimes I doing something, I don't know why I'm doing it. And then I realize, oh, that was an old reference for a CG artist or painter. Ah, damn it! I'm
Yeah.
literally copying. Damn it!
Yeah. Your brain will fool you as you go.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's don't get me wrong. I will do the same with photography, but photography at least I can understand why it's been done like this because that's a reality,
Yeah.
and then I can do reverse engineering and doing my own thing based on that photography. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I wanted to ask. And I know we've talked about reference before in our videos, but I know that that's a key thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I think color grading,
Yeah.
that could be the thing I used to collect a lot for photographers of films. Color grade for me, it's just, yeah, the next stage of
It's
learning
so
curve.
essential.
Yeah, so tricky and so
Yeah.
hard.
And it's often overlooked too in the process for CGI artists to grade, but it's so essential. You can change the mood, look, and feel. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Now
There
we're
you go.
in the MS6 layer, the world that you made for the MS6.
You know
You
this.
son of a bitch, you cheater, using the big guns on me here.
There you go. There you go. Boom. One more
Yeah,
time.
it
Using the
looks so
same
good.
environment.
Yeah, man, look at that bad boy. I love that bounce that you have. That bounce kick onto the front left fender bumper, the splitter, the
Oh, cute.
directional bounce. Yeah, it's so smart because that would fall into darkness, but you kick the light right at it, just as if the caustics are pushing light back into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried to get better at looking at things and acknowledging where the light's coming from and dissecting it. It's something that you just don't do and that you're not taught really. It's hard to teach that, to see the thing, but it's something I try to do in everything. That's why I asked about references, because when I look at realistic real world references, I'm like, what makes this special? It's all this stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah. Those extra details and things.
I guess in my side, working with photographers and small gigs in advertising, I was lucky enough to be open and understanding. Oh, are you doing this? That it's kind of weird. I don't know if it's ever happened to you when you're working with a amount of people, and these people high professional doing certain stuff. They don't tell you why they're doing it, but they know this is something special. But they don't tell you they're
Yeah.
doing it, and you are there. It's up to you to understand what's going on and then grasp it and take it for you as well,
Yeah.
because everyone knows. But you are also in the room to be able to see it and understand it. If you don't, you are missing out. It's kind of
Yes.
I don't know. It's happened to you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, working with high level professionals that are specialized, it's so good to like just absorb what they're doing, how they're doing it, ask questions, just get the information. It's so cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one thing I miss about that's one thing I really miss. I just I'm at home, I'm isolated. I miss that in the studio space. You learn so much more. But it all depends on if the studio space is conducive to learning and sharing, because it could be absolutely opposite if people are rude or mean and just bad to be around. So that happens too. Oh, I love these. These are so great. Yeah. So I think I went full blue. We'll get into that and I went ridiculous with mine. And so you went opposite. You went with white, which I think was a smarter move. Yeah, look at that bad boy.
yeah.
Really
So
smart
ridiculous,
bad boy.
man. So stupid. I remember when these renders come out. I think actually this one it went viral.
That's right. Yeah.
People thought this could be the new ACTC Argentinian race car.
Can you imagine being like the owners of these clubs and like, what is this? What is going on? What the heck? They have all this money and time and energy invested into it. Like, this isn't our thing. What the heck? We didn't sanction this. We didn't allow this.
Yeah, it was a sort of a hype for people. Oh, it's happening. The new Argentinian race is happening. And then as soon as I revealed the front, people were like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah. But the people, I think it seemed like everybody generally really enjoyed it. And yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah,
love.
they
Yeah.
were respectful. Yeah,
Yeah. That was the word, the
yeah, they were
respectful.
they were respectful. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Here you go.
cool.
You see all the details. Jesus Christ, a lot of
Yeah.
texture.
Yeah, this is when all the things come together. It's cool that you can see it out, and so this is what I was saying earlier, is that it changes to completely when you're in a studio space, and then you go to a lit HDRI complete full dimensional dome world. The light, the texture, everything changes and shifts. You have to adjust it to that world.
Yeah,
You can't just like copy and paste. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It's just a
yeah,
lot of work. Yeah.
exactly. That's why I use the mask. Because imagine adjusting that amount of diffuse
Ugh.
and dirt in Painter, exporting, and then going back to IPR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, not for me.
You want to go from one program to the next and not go backwards or forwards. You want to stay in the program and keep moving forwards. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
moving
can.
forward, stage, and that's it. I guess
Yeah.
for big production, it's part of the pipeline and it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
But you're
small
one
pipeline,
person.
yeah, one person doesn't make any sense. All right, I
Yeah.
have the control now in one tool. I don't need to go back and making this everything so complex and complicated. Nah,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Yeah, that renders nuts. Yeah, I love that. It's a little sneaky. What's cool is like I often don't see you do this either, and you repeated the same shot you did with the MS6, and it works so well. You have that foreground out of focus, and then the light coming from the left, but it works so well when a shot works really well, it just works really well, and that's yeah. And I love that shot in the MS6, and I love this shot here too. It just works. It's one of my favorites of the series too.
I would say, I can tell the shot is been discovered and done with the McLaren, not with this one. I
Yeah, I
feel
mean
like
the McLaren. Yeah.
yeah, I think this one, maybe the silver or something is going on. I don't. Maybe I factored out with the grading, something like the glare on the top, kind of a warmy. Now I'm looking at it like yeah, it doesn't make any sense that
Oh,
that
really?
glare. Yeah, kind of a too much sugar, I will say.
Too much sugar, huh?
Too much
Yeah.
sugar, man.
Huh.
Just I went too over the
So if
overload
you
with it.
did it again, you would remove or reduce the glare and
Yeah, I would
change the
go
warmth.
maybe the exposure down and let the car paint be more contrasting and darker. I think it's too bright for that silver. Maybe because again, maybe the glare is like is giving
It's
black
lifting all the
contrast.
blacks.
Yeah, exactly. Could be something about that.
Yeah.
I'm really picky about the glare. Has to be right. Otherwise, I don't like to use it much.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a fun trick that you can overdo pretty easily too. Adding glare and stuff because it kind of makes the render more dynamic, which is interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say this could
Love
be
that
my
though.
favorite photo or my
Oh yeah.
favorite render. Yeah,
What is it about it that you like?
I would say the color grading. It makes
Yeah.
sense now with the grading on top, deep blue, and then grading down. The contrast is really cool. It feels natural. The bounce lighting from the left. I think it fits better with the silver. The white one, it was really cool, and the McLaren, but this one, I think it fits better. The silver. I feel the deep blue on the car paint. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I love the bounce of the yellow in the back, all the GI bounce, like on the side wing and everything. It's so nice. See, like the yellow of the Wiseco, how it bounces up. Yeah, like that. And it deflects upwards and on the right side of the little, yeah, that stuff. It's just, yes, dude. Yeah. So nice. Yeah. Just scattering really realistically. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of lessons on this one.
Yeah.
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 It's a cool one. It's definitely unique.
I would say I went
Fantasy element.
lazy. I went lazy with this one. I use using the same environment as the McLaren. All right, job done.
Well, again, as we mentioned, it's like also it's like I don't think there's a shame in like you put all the time and effort and built that world. It's like why not use it? You know, in my mind, it's like you've already done it, and it's like if you're a photographer and you had a really beautiful location like a studio, then you would just use the studio, right? So think of it the same thing in the studio. The place elevates the car. Yeah, I suppose you could say lazy. I know that that's been a comment that we've heard as well. Like we're using like the airfield or these things, but I think now, at least when I look at what we're doing now, it's like we're not. I think we've both figured out that we've achieved to do the whole ultra CGI world. And like, okay, once you've achieved a goal, it's like, well, how many times are you going to do that goal again just to prove to somebody? It's like, I don't think we have to prove anything anymore. We don't really care.
Yeah.
So
Only
now
if
it's just like,
serve on the car. I
yeah,
would say, if I'm doing a new car, we're doing a new car,
yeah,
and we feel like we can do something special for that car, yeah, we can do
yeah,
it. Otherwise, it's no point really.
yeah, yeah. Well,
At least
the
it's not our
essence,
focus.
yeah, we want to design cars now more. So it's like putting more effort into the design part, more time and effort, and then
Yeah,
getting
to
that done.
avoid this kind of monstrosity.
It's fitting the theme of the car, the race
It is.
series. So
It is.
yeah,
It is.
fair
It is.
enough. It's fitting the theme.
I can
Yeah.
hear the engine, V8 in
Yeah.
this case.
Yeah. This is a V8. Okay.
Of
Yeah.
course, these are
Yeah.
gonna be a V8. A
Yeah.
small upgrade on the sound.
Just a couple more cylinders. Just
Yeah.
two more cylinders. Yeah. What is the key takeaways for this one for you when you look back at it? I mean, you just kind of touched on it a little bit, but
A
this
little
is,
bit.
yeah. What are like the things that you look back on and like a key lesson or something that makes you think when you're moving forwards in your journey as an artist?
Now that we are more deep in design, be more aware the process of designing, I would say. Maybe you can talk about respect or be careful or thinking twice. What are you doing? What are you about to do? In this case was, yeah, whatever, random. Yeah. No. Because this is gonna be a render. It's gonna be realistic enough to look at it after years and be proud of it or not. In this case, I'm not really proud. I will say I'm proud about the process, about the lessons, about the actual task.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. As I told you, I started and then I realized it's not going to be a good concept, but I was committed to do it. And that's
Yeah.
really cool because through the process, I think was the first time using UDIMs and just paint it in the specific way. And it was really cool to see, all right, I can do this. I can achieve these certain levels of quality for rendering. And it's really cool. But it's true, it's a massive leap comparing what we're doing right now and what we started.
Yeah.
I would say maybe back then I was a little bit more willing to risk. I would say that I was willing to fool myself and going a little bit stupid and silly just for the sake of doing it. Now I think I will reconsider twice what I'm doing and what is the actual purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it's just evolution. It's the only reason I asked, because we're constantly evolving, looking at what we're doing, and then trying to be better at it. It's just a process. It's a moving process, a moving target. And who knows, like in 12 to 24 months from now, what we would look back on the work we're doing now and what it would be, and
Of
how
course.
much we would change it. The key as an artist, you never want to plateau. You want to constantly be climbing that mountain and be humbled by the mountain. That's really the trick. And that's why I asked you these questions, because I would have probably same conundrum when we do the next episode, which I'll have plenty of negative comments on my own self. But that's part of the journey too. It's like when you're doing it at the time, when you're doing it, you're like, yeah, this is so fun. And that's the truth, right? It's what feels good. But when you look at it later down the road, it's nice to have these cathartic moments of like, oh, okay, like, there's these serendipitous moments of, I think I could do this better, or I can try this better, or I can be more aware. And I think that what you just said, I couldn't agree more. I think that's a really beautiful way of approaching it, looking at it, taking the time, having more respect for the original thing, playing with it a little bit more, adjusting it slightly, and then evolving it as you go. There's nothing wrong with that approach too. I think you're also busy and we're just pushing super hard. There can be a million excuses and reasons why things didn't go the way they did, but at the same time, it's just part of the journey and it makes it fun.
Yeah, there's something there you touch on, and I'm trying to articulate this feeling. Sometime nowadays, it feels easy for me to detect when I'm trying to get away with things where I know is not right, and I stopped. Back then, I feel like I was like, oh, this feels odd. I shouldn't do this. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't honest with myself. Could be the answer. Now I'm aware about that, and I know the consequence of that. The consequence of that is the growth, maybe, possibly, but mainly being honest with myself. Right, this seems it's not right to me. I think I had that. I'm so glad I'm doing this with you. We were designing the Evo, the 190,
Yeah.
and that car resists so many days and so much weeks, and I couldn't figure out what is it, and I knew it because I felt the pressure. That car is not gonna be just designed; it's gonna be built. So maybe the pressure was higher, and then plus on top, I had the experience of, yeah, whatever. No. This one is not whatever. It has to be right, and you had to battle that line, right? One thing is just, I'm not doing this car of myself. I'm doing with you, with Ash. So I
Yeah.
have to be honest, but at the same time, not be too precious, because some perfection doesn't exist. So in some time, you have to let it go, and that's
Yeah.
what it is, and just move on. So that moment, it was tricky for me. I think we talk about this a lot, and it's a massive learning lesson for me. And finding the right line. Not always has to be perfect and super well thought. Has to be just done. Has to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I agree with that. And yeah, referencing the Paradigm build, the Evo, the 190 Mercedes Evo. Yeah, I think we struggled so much on that, but we just kept pushing forwards. And I think that was a kind of a summation of how far we've grown, and then what we're trying to do as designers, and building things out and being aware of things. And if you look at that, if you get a chance, you pull it up in the browser and you look at it, even as in silver, you can see how much change has happened, because there's so many inclinations, body shape changes, chamfer lines, all of these resolution things that are happening in the design, where I think if we were to have done it back then, we would have just been like, just leave it like one clean plane or something, you know. But the more you do design, the more you realize you can hide more details, and this is what makes a really great designer, I think, is like, I'm going to channel this light, I'm going to pull this light out here, I'm going to push that thing here, I'm going to push this there and that there, and we're going to chamfer this off. And that's what, like, you get, there's so many beautiful cars and amazing designers out there that are such an inspiration to us, but we're constantly like looking at these things as muse and inspiration. And yeah, it's all a stage of growth too. And I'm really excited to see where all this is going to go in the next, 5 years or so, as things develop and grow. Who knows? Maybe AI is just going to be the thing we just use, and then we just make this better, change that, and adjust that, and so on and so forth. So yeah, but it's definitely
For
a
sure.
process.
Eventually.
Yeah, all in time. Actually, it's kind of interesting to compare the Lacroy to the Mercedes, because there's a lot of similarities in the approach to the design, but then you see quite a shift in the global design changes that happen between the two cars, which is really fun. Yeah, yeah, love it. So sick. Well,
Yeah,
thank you
man.
for sharing this journey with us. Yeah,
Yeah, I've been thinking for a while. Hopefully, it's not gonna be too repetitive. All these kind of themes, even though it can be. It's just we're doing this over and over again. And but I think the more we do it, the more reveals, more details, the more workflow we establish and we use it. And the ones we are not talk about anymore, which is
yeah,
great. So you can follow through the different episode. What is the actual pattern? What is the actual general workflow? We stick with us and
yeah.
we evolve. Hopefully, it's gonna make sense for the viewers. But yeah, we try to keep it up and try to show as much as we can without going too deep, because sometimes if we go too deep, because that means it's gonna be useful just for us.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
still
so
has to be
yeah,
somewhat entertaining. Yeah, which is
exactly.
good. Yeah,
Also
there's
for
definitely gonna
all
be
the
repetition. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, man.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, also for all the Argentinian, be gentle with us. We are a big fan of the ACTC
Yeah,
Argentinian
and
careers,
mate as well. Yeah.
and the mate as well. And big respect, a lot of love for my brothers, and yeah, hopefully you like this monster Camaro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you everybody for being here and participating. And yeah, we're looking forward to the next one, and have a great time creating awesome art.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you next one.
Yes. Ciao.